Despite being the benefactors of a bit of a fairy tale season, the Minnesota Vikings were absolutely dominated and outclassed by the Los Angeles Rams during the wildcard round of the playoffs. There's no two ways about it. It was an absolute bloodbath, and the primary reason for that was the Rams' defensive line and what they were able to do to get pressure on Sam Darnold. Taking a look at some of the numbers from this performance, the Rams tied an NFL record with 9 sacks in a playoff game. Those sacks resulted in a net loss of 82 yards, which is the most in a game since sacks became an official statistic in 1982. Additionally, the Rams had 8 different players record at least half a sack in this game. Their 6 sacks on Darnold in the first half were the most taken by any quarterback in the first half of a playoff game in the last 25 years. They also set another playoff sack record that's a bit more obscure but still notable. They became the first team ever to have 2 corners record at least 1 sack in a playoff game. Looking at pressure, they pressured Sam Darnold on 52% of his dropbacks, the most of any game in the wildcard round, and the second most pressure Darnold had seen in a season, according to Next Gen Stats. And for the Rams, it was the second highest pressure rate that they had generated all season themselves. In terms of the amount of pressures they had 26, which was tied for their most of the season and tied for second for the most by any team in the NFL this year. A big reason for this was the play design of defensive coordinator Chris Shula, who was sending a ton of exotic blitzes and stunts and things of that nature at Sam Darnold that kind of brought us back to his New York days when he was known for seeing ghosts and kind of panicking and not making great decisions. Decisions that the Rams were able to force Darnold to make and then capitalize on. So because of that, and because of how enamored I am with the Rams defensive line, particularly players like Jared Verse and Kobe Turner, I wanted to take a look at this game and kind of break down some of the more impactful plays. So I've got 15 of their 26 pressures. We're going to take a look at them. We're going to talk about what makes them stand out, what they did to make Darnold uncomfortable, and how they resulted in a massive win for the Rams. So without further ado, let's go ahead, dive into those plays, and talk about some great defense. All right, first play here, we're going to direct your eyes to the right side of the line. We're taking a look at Byron Young, the second-year edge out of Tennessee. Was incredible as a rookie, has been very good this year, and he's going to show off his speed with this bull rush up against Brian O'Neill. Takes down Sam Darnold, gets the sack, gets credited for a full sack. I know Kobe Turner jumped in there at the end, but Darnold was already trending downward, so it's not like it did a whole lot for the result of the play. So, breaking this play down, big thing to note first is Young's alignment. As you can see, there is a lot of space between him and the tight end, the end of the line, and that is because he's lined up as a wide 9. Why do you line a guy up as a wide 9 if you don't know? The answer is you want them to build up speed. You want them to get as much speed as they can going into their first contact with their blocker. So by lining him up wide, assuming that, there's a world where TJ Hawkinson is asked to block here, he's got a good bit of space between him and Hawkinson, right? This is a nice little bit of space to build up some speed, especially for a guy who ran a 4.43. It's not like he needs a lot, he just needs that little bit. However, what ends up happening is Hawk's going to go out on a route. I don't remember his actual route, so I'm just going to say that. He goes out on a route. And then you've got Brian O'Neill. Look at all the space between him and Byron Young. That is huge. So what's going to happen here once this ball is snapped is Young is going to take off. He sees Brian O'Neill, and he's going to engage with just his arm. He's got some nice length, so he's going to drive his hand directly into the chest of O'Neill, and that gives him all the leverage on this play. O'Neill doesn't have a chance to get his hands up, doesn't have a chance to kind of wall off Byron Young, because Brian O'Neill is a very, very respectable tackle. I'm not saying he's locking down Byron Young 10 times out of 10 if he gets his hands on him, but Young's not, killing him if he can get hands on him. So Young recognizes this, drives him back as far as he can. By the time he has hands on him, O'Neill is already trending upward. He's losing his ground. He's losing his balance, getting driven all the way back into his quarterback. And Young at the last minute is going to be able to let go once he drives O'Neill into the other tackle there. He's able to wrap up Sam Darnold, bring him down. Just a dominant rep. Not a whole lot to break down from a technical standpoint. This is just Byron Young saying, give me, however many inches of daylight, and I'm going to drive the tackle into the quarterback bring him down. You see Kobe Turner does the nice little conductor celebration, probably my favorite celebration in all of football, next to Cole Kmet's home run. I'm a Bears fan. Cole Kmet's my favorite player, so that's probably my favorite celebration. But Kobe Turner's little conductor celebration is a close second. The reason I'm talking about this, number one, I was a theater kid in high school, so I got a soft spot for athletes that, kind of have that performance background, a little prowess when it comes to music, because, oh my God, Kobe Turner's talented. And number two, because that's who we're going to take a look at next. All right, as I said, jumping over to Kobe Turner here, we've got him lined up as a 4 technique right over top of Brian O'Neill, and he's going to go up against Dalton Reisner. Does a great job of keeping consistent throughout the play. That's what ends up winning him this rep. He goes for the celebration again. Unfortunately, it gets cut off. But taking a closer look here, the big thing for this play is, as I've mentioned, Sam Darnold's kind of seen, he goes throughout this game. He holds this ball entirely too long, and that gives Kobe Turner way too much time to beat his man. Why do I say that? Well, right away, Dalton Reisner does a great job of getting the initial strike on this rep. So you see about right here, you got Reisner with the hand in the chest, and then you see Turner, his other hand, you can't quite see it from this angle, but it's not on the outside shoulder of Reisner, so we're going to, utilize what we have and say that it's on the inside of the chest. That's what it looks like to me. If I'm wrong, if someone has the other side of this and points out, like, it's on his forearm or something, Kobe Turner's using hands on wrists here, then, my bad. But from what I can tell, his hand's in the chest. The reason I say this is because, as we know, that's what you want as a lineman. You want your hands inside the chest of the guy across from you so you can win the matchup. You can manipulate your opponent in whatever way you want. So you see Turner, he is getting, kind of manhandled here to start a little bit. Reisner's doing a great job of keeping in front of him. He's got his hand up to the throat, but Turner does a fantastic job of keeping his legs moving. He does not stop moving. He does not let his drive quit. And that is going to open up this opportunity that we will pause at here in just a moment right there. The hand from Reisner is down. That opens up this left side of the chest, or the right side for our angle. Because of that, Turner is able to take the hand that he was using to hold off Reisner's hand, reset it, and jam it into the chest of Reisner. Now, all of a sudden, Turner has all the leverage in this situation. And he's going to do a great job of taking advantage of that. As soon as he gets that leverage, as soon as he sees that there is a wide gap here down the middle, he is going to toss Dalton Reisner to the side, lock in on Sam Darnold, who, by all accounts, seems to be pretty oblivious to what's going on here. For the benefit of Darnold, I'm choosing to believe that he knows Turner's barreling down, and he's keeping his eyes downfield, waiting for something to break open to get this ball out at the last second. But this is not a good screenshot for Darnold. Obviously, screenshot analysis is bad, but I digress. Does a good job there of hawking down Darnold. Obviously, Byron Young is going to be in there to help a little bit. We cut to the celebration. Just a really, really good job of Turner showing that he doesn't quit, right? He's somebody that it's really hard to stay in front of for a long period of time because of the leg drive, because of his football IQ, and because he's pretty quick, right? Not Byron Young quick. He didn't run a 4.43. I don't know what he ran offhand, but it surely wasn't that fast. He's just quick by his standards, quick for a guy like Reisner, who's a bit of a bulkier guard. And Reisner, I know he's kind of had a down year, by all accounts, is a damn good guard. And he does a good job here initially against Turner. But that fight, just with how long Darnold was holding this ball, it makes Turner's job just manageable. I was going to say easy. I was going to say easier. That's not true. It makes it manageable. It goes from impossible situation to be in, literally looking up, begging God for an answer, begging God for a lane to the quarterback, to all of a sudden I'm in control and I'm going to go get your quarterback. So just a hell of a rep by Turner, like I said. And that'll be the last play we check out from the first quarter. All right, this play right here, same drive as the last one. We're in the second quarter now. We've got a 3rd and long, trying to get in the end zone at some point, trying to get downfield to score a touchdown. Also, okay, I guess settling for a field goal, and that's what the Vikings are going to have to do, but it's far from ideal, right? And this is going to be a big play, not by any particular defender, but by Chris Shula, the defensive coordinator. The way he draws this up is masterful. They take full advantage of Sam Darnold here. So listen, no disrespect to what Sam Darnold has done this year or had done this year prior to the last 2 weeks, but he's still far from an elite quarterback, right? He's not one of these guys that we expect to be like a full-on tactician of the game, a master strategist, anything like that. He was playing very well, but there are still things you're going to try to take advantage of, and this is going to be one of those against Darnold, and that is what he is able to see pre and post snap. He's not great at adjusting on the fly to pre and post snap reads, and this is going to be a prime example of that. So right away, you see the Rams are loading up on the left side. You've got 3 defenders, and you've got the linebacker, who all look like they're coming downhill. It's third down, looks like they're blitzing. As a quarterback, you see that and you think, yep, they're sending heat on the left side. So I'm going to watch the left side of the field, because when the defense sends a blitz, you want to throw at the pressure, right? Because if they're sending heat, that usually means there's going to be something open about here. If this linebacker comes down, someone coming over the middle of the field will likely be open. That's what you want to do. You want to throw at the pressure, because they're going to have to replace a defender. And if you can get that ball off quick enough, usually they're not going to have time to do that, or sometimes they just straight up don't do it. So that's what Darnold's thinking pre-snap. However, you see as this play plays out, that's not what the Rams do. They send heat from the right. They completely throw things off. Darnold gets so caught up on the left side that he stares down Justin Jefferson, lets it rip, can't get the first down. So how does this work? How do you turn showing 4 guys blitzing on the left side of the line to heat on the right? Well, it's very simple. You stunt. These stunts are drawn up perfectly. So you see as this ball is getting snapped, Kobe Turner is lightning quick off the snap. This is an incredible rep by 91. He flies into the line, times the snap perfectly, and he's going to make contact here with Bradbury and the left guard. That is going to open up Braden Fisk, who is going to feign a rush at the tackle and then loop around. So more specifically, he's going to feign this rush and then loop around Turner into the gap created. However, you still have to worry about Dalton Risner over here. We were literally just talking about him. I don't know why his name escaped me. You have to worry about Dalton Risner on the right side of the line. No worry. You've got Jared Verse. Jared Verse is going to feign that he's rushing to the outside and then cut across and eat up that space, which is then going to open up Christian Roseboom to take the edge. He's going to loop around the line. So in other words, in practice, you've got Turner and Verse as your pin guys, and then you've got your boys Roseboom and Fisk looping around and creating pressure. And then you leave Byron Young one-on-one on the outside against TJ Hawkinson. He's going to get chipped, and then that's going to force Cam Robinson out here to focus in on him. So he can't worry about the greater scheme of what's going on behind him. He is preoccupied with our boy Byron Young. So letting this actually run again, you see all of that pressure ends up coming on the right side instead of the left. So Darnold's watching like, okay, I just need Jefferson to break open. He's going to break open over the middle. I can throw out the pressure. It's going to be great. What he doesn't realize is the backside of this play is being left wide open. Aaron Jones is about to leak out and have nothing but green in front of him. This defender here, he's trailing with Jefferson. He's not going to be able to pay attention. All of these guys, the 4 defenders over here, they're not going to be able to pay attention. They've got their assignments. So that leaves Aaron Jones, who's an incredible pass catcher out of the backfield. As a Bears fan, he has burned me many times as a pass catcher out of the backfield. One-on-one with a safety who's lined up all the way back at the 10-yard line. Peak cinema. If Darnold sees this, you've got at least a first down, maybe a touchdown. And we're talking about, holy shit, Darnold adjusted incredibly post-snap and was able to, identify that the blitz wasn't actually coming from the left. He saw the stunts and he was like, okay, so the right side's going to be open. Instead, Darnold's seeing ghosts. He starts seeing the phantoms of the pass rushers on the left side. And he's looking at that as, fuck, okay, I gotta throw left, no matter what. He feels that pressure coming from the right side now. He's like, I'm too far into this. Jefferson's open, I'm gonna hit him. And, by all accounts, this throw, he tries to lead him back inside. He does a good job. But it's just not enough. It's simply not enough, and the Vikings are forced to settle for a field goal. That is a huge play from Shula. Incredible play design, incredible job taking advantage of a quarterback that I think we can all pretty comfortably say was overachieving during the regular season. You know, I'm sure he saw something earlier in the year that really set him off to this, gave him this idea. Or maybe he just knows what Darnold is and was able to take advantage of it. But either way, just impeccable play calling, incredible execution there, especially by Kobe Turner. Like I said, one more time, look at how quick he is off the snap. As soon as that ball moves, he is in full force. He's engaged with his block before Darnold even has the football in his hands. Just an incredible play all around. And this is the first example of a couple we're going to look at where Darnold just couldn't handle the heat, and the Rams took full advantage of that and Darnold himself. All right, next play we're going to take a look at here, I promise will not take me nearly as long to respond. That was a 5-minute clip that I just recorded explaining that last play. We've got Kobe Durant, the corner, lined up here at the top of your screen. He's going to be the one to bring down Darnold. So we'll let this one play out. You see they're going to send Justin Jefferson in motion. That sends Durant out a tiny bit. Gives him a better angle, if anything, for this sack. Just absolutely smokes Sam Darnold. Darnold doesn't have much of a chance because this is play action. So his back is turned and he's getting Durant flying down at him. Which, is a really good play by Durant. And you know what? I got to go on a little ramble here. Something just occurred to me, right? Kobe Durant, Kobe Turner. We knew that. That's nothing new. But they both spell their names differently but similarly. And they're both different than the spelling of Kobe I'm used to. Like, I'm not a huge basketball fan, but the first two names I think of when I think of Kobe are Kobe White, because I'm a North Carolina fan, C-O-B-Y, and Kobe Bryant, obviously, the late Black Mamba, K-O-B-E. Two different ways of spelling Kobe. Then you have these two, C-O-B-I-E versus K-O-B-I-E. Just interesting, because you've got the C-O-B-Y I mentioned, and then K-O-B-E. 4 different spellings of the same name. How about that? But anyways, back to the actual game at hand. All 4 very talented ball players in their own right. But Kobe Durant does a great job here, as I said. Darnold, he's turned around. As soon as he flicks his head around, he sees Kobe Durant barreling down on him. And this is tough because he can't let this ball rip. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 routes, all currently facing away from you. Technically, he can try, let me rephrase that. Not he can try, he should throw this ball out of bounds over here next to Justin Jefferson, but he doesn't. Instead, he panics. He sees pressure, thinks rut-row raggy, turns his ass around, and gets sacked from behind. Also, another thing I want to point out here before we move on, because we've pretty much broken down the play. Check out this rep by Michael Hoyt down here. 97, kind of one of the forgotten guys on this defensive line. Just swipes away at Cam Robinson. Does a fantastic job, and he's going to get back there as well. Obviously, Kobe Durant was there first, but Michael Hoyt's right behind him. 2 of them are able to kind of celebrate together. Just a really good rep. I just realized I spent more time breaking down the names than the actual play, but again, there's not a whole lot to say. This is just Darnold was turned around, turns back around, sees a defender in his face because of a CB blitz, panics, and takes a very, very unnecessary sack. All right, another play where the Rams are going to get some pressure and make Darnold make a mistake. So real quick, just to highlight the pressure, you've got 3 guys here all kind of bunched up on the right side of your line. Kobe Turner, Jared Verse, and the linebacker Roseboom. Those 3 guys are what Darnold is keyed in on pre-snap. And to his credit, we talked about the last time that Darnold was facing pressure. You got to throw at the pressure. You got to replace the pressure. He is going to throw to the right side of the field where the pressure seems to be coming from, but it's not going to go his way, and we'll see that here in just a moment. So they snap this ball, and he just stares down the right side of the field, throws this one to Jordan Addison. It gets picked off by Kobe Durant. Very costly turnover. So taking a look more at the anatomy of the play here, you've got Roseboom who's going to feign a blitz and then drop back into coverage and be responsible for CJ Ham. You've got a stunt over here with these 2. Jared Verse is going to crash down and play inside where Kobe Turner is going to stunt around the edge. Byron Young on the other side is going to be one-on-one with the tackle. and then you've got Braden Fisk one-on-one here with the guard. So taking a look at how that pans out, I guess going from first thing I showed to last, Roseboom fakes out Bradbury. Now Bradbury isn't really doing a whole lot. He ends up helping on the stunt, but that's what it's designed to do anyways. He fell right into their trap, and Roseboom's going to get out into the flat to pick up CJ Ham. Take a look at the other two guys on the right side. Kobe Turner does a good job of initially engaging with Dalton Reisner. He holds his position until Verse makes his swim move inside, eats up some space, and then Kobe Turner is going to try his best to get around and is actually going to impact the play heavily, as we will see in a moment. Taking a look at Fisk now on the bottom of your screen. He does a great job. He's going to initially engage with the guard, have some hand fighting going on here, tries a spin move. The guard does a good job recovering, but it doesn't matter. Fisk has him on his toes, so he's going to drive back. Never going to be in position to get a sack here, but he does get the hand up, thinking maybe he can, kind of force a fumble here maybe, or at the very least, he's making Darnold uncomfortable. And then Byron Young on the other side of the line, he's going to end up getting chipped by TJ Hawkinson and by CJ Ham, a double chip there. They're really worried about Byron Young on this play, and he's going to still do a good job of trying to get his man either way. So, looking at Darnold here, the key here is, like I said, he kind of looks off this route and then just stares down Jordan Addison. And to his credit, not the worst idea in the world. Addison does a good job cutting across the face of Turner. So you're probably thinking, if you can get this ball out in front of him, then you can make a play. However, you need to throw that ball now. Like in this moment, maybe a millisecond later, you need to let this ball rip. Because if not, Turner has too much time to close in on the route. He's running an out. Throw the outbreaker. Throw to the sideline. Let Addison run into the play. And honestly, with the release that Addison has here at the top of the route, he could have done that. Kobe Turner, kind of stutter steps there for a second. He would have had that ability to at least make this a catchable ball for Addison. Instead, what he does is waits because of the pressure. The pressure has him a little panicked. He's clearly not thinking straight. So he holds the ball a millisecond too long, or a second too long, I guess I should say. And because of that, you see Kobe Turner driving Brian O'Neill into his lap. Goodness, he's going to end up smacking his arm off of O'Neill's helmet. That's going to fuck up his release and is going to make this ball come out not ideal. It's a little flat, a little too far inside. Kobe Durant's going to be able to make a really nice play on it. And also on top of that, if the pressure wasn't there, Darnold could have had another first down here. You see Jalen Naylor is starting to break against Akello Witherspoon. He's going to run right into the space that is opened up by Addison cutting to the sideline. If he would have had just another couple moments in this pocket, maybe even just another moment in this pocket, he could have seen Naylor and thrown a much safer ball out into open space, picked up the first down, maybe more. We talked about with the Aaron Jones play that he missed, it could have been a touchdown. This one also, if he hit Speedy Naylor, could be a touchdown. Now that's getting into a little nitpicking, just pointing out like this would have been the right read, kind of hammering that home because you got one man to beat down here. They call him Speedy for a reason. He's pretty damn quick. But even if it's not a touchdown, it's the first down you need. It's a much safer throw. Unfortunately, he doesn't have time to process that. Instead, he locks onto that first read, and because of the pressure, throws a non-ideal pass, gets picked off. Very costly turnover for the Vikings. The Rams get the ball back on their own side of the field, but right around, the 40, not too far off from midfield. Just all around. Great job by the Rams, just like the last play we took to look at. Great design by Shula. Great execution by the players. And just not a good decision, not good play at all by Sam Darnold. All right, this is another really well done play by the Rams defense. Another great play call by Chris Shula. 16-3 is your score. The Rams are winning. Vikings are trying to get downfield and score a touchdown. Trying to make this more of a ball game. Got about 4.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Goodness gracious, not the fourth. I am all over the place today. And Darnold's going to get exposed again. They send pressure at him, kind of fake the blitz at the start of the play. He panics, holds the ball, fumbles, and Jared Verse is going to rumble his way into the end zone for a massive touchdown. Ends up giving them a 20-point lead after the PAT. Just a huge, huge play for the Rams defense. So taking a look at the anatomy of the play here, right away, you see 1, 2, 3, 4 guys down on the line. The last second, you see Quentin Lake come down. You see Byron Young come down. So Darnold's seeing 6 pass rushers on this play. What ends up actually happening, I guess I'll just draw it out for you. Kobe Turner rushes. Braden Fisk rushes. Christian Roseboom drops back. You get Quentin Lake rushing. You get Byron Young dropping back. You get Jared Verse, who's going to play a bit of a QB spy. And then you get Ahkello Witherspoon running. So they still send 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys, just not the 6 you're thinking. They completely throw Darnold off his rhythm. So Lake comes firing down. Guard can't get a hand on him. So that messes everything up. CJ Ham is going to come in and pop him. But at that point, Darnold is, kind of aligned deep in the pocket. So he's going to be forced to step up. And he's going to step up into Ahkello Witherspoon coming unblocked, untouched, up behind him, off his blind side, doesn't expect him. The last minute pulls in, not because of Witherspoon, because of Kobe Turner slipping through. So he still doesn't realize Witherspoon's really behind him. Witherspoon comes up behind him, slaps the ball out of his hand, gets loose, and again, Jared Verse is going to pick it up and take it all the way to the house. Just really well executed by the front. Again, you feign the blitz, you send your guys back into coverage. Darnold panics, even though he has Jordan Addison breaking open over here. He's got TJ Hawkinson breaking into good space. Like, he has some options here. He doesn't trust any of them. He's panicked. He's freaking the fuck out. He's going, okay, Justin Jefferson also breaking open up here. You've got one guy open. You've got another guy breaking open. You've got Hawkinson breaking open. He's got options. He doesn't know what to do. He's panicked. Instead, he's going to get brought down, fumble, etc., etc. Also, real quick, just because I'm me, I want to take a look at CJ Ham's effort on this play, which is really, really good. So you see he picks up on Lake blitzing right away, hits him, knocks him out of the play, and then once Darnold gets sacked, he realizes that he needs to make a play, so he's going to try to chase down the edge rusher. Doesn't work out. Obviously, Verse ends up scoring, but I'd be remiss if I didn't at least mention the attempted effort there. Either way, huge play by the Rams defense, another great play call by Chris Shula, just completely taking advantage of Sam Darnold once again, making him look silly. And like I said, this ends up putting you up by 20 going into 4 minutes being left in the second quarter. This is when the Rams really started to run away with it, and it's because of another great play call that was executed to perfection. This play, our next play we're taking a look at, is incredible effort from Neville Gallimore, the 300-pound defensive tackle, who is just going to work his way all across the offensive line here. Once this ball gets snapped, you see he engages with one blocker, jumps to a second, jumps to a third, gets picked up by the third, and then finally gets to Sam Darnold after all of that. So taking a look at it here, the anatomy of the play, you see right away he's going to be lined up in between the guard and the tackle here as a 3 technique. He's going to fire into the guard, cut across his chest, and then fire into the center. He's then going to act as a pin defender so that 90 here, Davis, can loop around inside to take care of Darnold. So on this play, technically speaking, the way it is being played, he's not even supposed to be the guy that makes the play. He's supposed to be the one that opens up space for another guy to make the play. However, 96 over here is going to do a great job of getting some pressure off of Cam Robinson. You see he bull rushes into him, picks up the arms, kind of forklifts him, and then cuts across his face. That is going to set up Sam Darnold to go out to the right here, right? He drifts to the right of the pocket, which means that Davis, who's trying to get to Darnold when he's sitting in the middle of the pocket, instead is no longer in position because Darnold is drifting out to the right. However, Gallimore is now one-on-one because Garrett Bradbury is moving to pick up Davis. So Gallimore's one-on-one and has Darnold in his sights. So he's going to try to cut off Darnold going to the right. Darnold recognizes that and cuts back inside. Gallimore, once he sees Darnold isn't coming to him, gets 64 coming at him. He's going to toss the hands away and then lock in on Darnold. Darnold still panicked, hasn't gotten rid of this football. Right about, at any point here, you can get rid of this football, get rid of the ball, get rid of the ball. Right here especially, you have the time to set your feet. get rid of the ball. If something's not open, get rid of the ball. He goes to pump fake here, has to pull it in at the last second because he waits too long to throw the ball. And then Gallimore and Byron Young are going to be able to pick him up for the sack. So, in other words, you see Gallimore starts off as the 3 technique on the left side of your screen. He's going to end up all the way across the formation over to where the edge rusher on the opposite side of the play started. And then eventually he's going to come back inside and make the sack, get the sack. Just incredible effort from a guy who, again, 300-pound lineman, getting around quickly, doing what he needs to. He does his job and then goes above and beyond with the effort and the motor. Incredible play from somebody who, you know, with all due respect to Gallimore, isn't the first name that comes to mind when you think of this Rams defensive line. You know, you go immediately to guys like Jared Verse, Byron Young, Kobe Turner, Braden Fisk even. Gallimore's not the guy you jump to, but this is one of the better plays of the game, one of the ones that stood out to me. All right, next play here. We've got 2 things to look at, primarily a sack from Kobe Turner, but also we're going to take a look at something that Jared Verse does at the end here. So first and foremost, taking a look at Turner, we've got him lined up as a 2Y here in between the guard and the center. Snap the ball, he takes on the center, sells the stunt, and then pulls around, loops around, however you want to put it, and ends up bringing down Sam Darnold. So, taking a look at the anatomy of this, right away, you see the Rams have 6 guys up on the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's scary hours for Darnold. We know he doesn't like the pressure. So he brings 6 up to the line. The Rams are actually only going to send 4. So that ends up, you know, kind of spooking Darnold a little bit. But what's going to happen here on the inside is Kobe Turner is going to cut across the face of the center. And that is going to get the center involved. It's going to get the guard and the running back involved. And then he's going to end up letting Braden Fisk kind of crash his man into all of that, right? You see Turner right here is drawing a triple team. And then they're going to let Fisk crash into it. And Turner ends up looping around, gets the sack. Pretty simple stuff, just a really well-executed stunt by these 2 interior linemen. Fisk does an awesome job of just firing off the ball and firing into blockers. Specifically, he, like, targets Aaron Jones there and just decides, fuck it, I'm killing the running back. And that's exactly what he does. The other thing I want to take a look at here is Jared Verse, because this rep is insane from him. So we've got him lined up as a wide 9 outside the tight end, right? You're going to send Hawkinson out on a route, so you got Verse one-on-one with Brian O'Neill. Verse is going to, instead of sprinting like we saw Byron Young do on the first play and like getting full speed, he kind of jogs up to O'Neill to keep him on his toes, right? He jogs up to him. O'Neill's thinking, okay, he's not coming at me full speed, kind of interesting. And then he breaks down and then just fires directly into the chest. That quick launch into his chest gives him leverage. He pops him back, and Verse gets a hold of the jersey, swims over top of him, and fires into Darnold in the backfield, ends up diving on him, which dive was a little unnecessary. You know, that's how you get somebody hurt. But, you know, you're up big. It's a celebration. I get it. I'm just saying, maybe celebrate in a little bit of a safer way. But who am I to say? You know, Verse was feeling it. I can't get mad at how he's feeling in the moment. But that's just a dirty, not in the sense of, like, being a shitty person dirty. Dirty isn't like why you got to do him like that dirty. Fire into the tackle, swim over top of him, and then swan dive onto the quarterback because why not, right? But across the board, those 3 linemen do a great job. Byron Young does a good job of just getting the fuck out of the way. You know, you see he's kind of bringing his man into Kobe Turner a little bit. He's like, nope, we're going back over here. And, you know, everyone does their job up front. Great play, big sack. Kind of what we've just been talking about the whole video. Every play feels like great play, big sack, because the Rams were all over Sam Darnold. Moving on now to the third quarter. We've only got 1 play from the third quarter, surprisingly, and it's going to center around Jared Verse getting some nice pressure on Sam Darnold. See a little bit of a delayed pass rush, ends up making Darnold uncomfortable, and Darnold has to throw an errant pass to the sideline. Not the biggest play we've taken a look at, but I do really like this rep from Verse. So you see right away, lined up over top of the tight end. He kind of steps a little bit, and then fires into O'Neal once again. You can almost see the last play was building up to this one. Gonna fire into O'Neal, knocks him off of his anchor, hands in the chest, gets across him, gets underneath of him after a little bit of hand fighting. The fact that this isn't a fumble is just crazy work by Darnold, because by all accounts, that should be a fumble. A hell of a job by Verse getting his hand in there. But Darnold, I guess, for one play in this entire game, decided he wanted to be strong-willed. And he hangs onto that football, tucks it up underneath of him, and then he's able to scramble out of the pocket. See, the pressure keeps with him, so he throws this one out. Ends up throwing it to the feet of Johnny Munt. Doesn't get a whole lot out of it. But a very dominant rep by Verse. Does his thing. Should have forced a fumble. Fortunately, it doesn't happen because Darnold wanted to do his thing. And I think this expression, too, kind of says it all for Darnold in this game. Just that look of, fuck, dude. That is Sam Darnold's vibe and mindset throughout this entire game, and I think that's quite fitting. A name we've mentioned once so far in this video, and we're going to talk about again, is Michael Hoyt, the outside linebacker, lined up here very wide as a wide 9 up against Cam Robinson. We'll go ahead and just let this one play out. He's going to do a great job with a little bit of a cross move there and forces an incomplete throw to Jordan Addison, gets Darnold panicking. So you see, because he's lined out wide, we know he can build up some speed. Cam Robinson sets a little deep. So Hoyt does a great job of using that. He kind of hits him with like the Euro step cross chop move, gets underneath, swims underneath, bends that corner, makes Darnold uncomfortable. So Darnold has to throw the ball up, and it ends up being incomplete. Taking a look at that one more time in full speed, cut across the tackle, force the quarterback to toss one up. Really nice rep. Not a whole lot to break down with that one. Just a good job by Hoyt, keeping Darnold uncomfortable. Could have been a huge completion, but it is not, thanks to the pressure on the play. Another textbook example of Jared Verse just being a game changer, being a game record, lined up here on the left side of your screen. Going up against a backup tackle at this point, Quessenberry, I believe. I could be wrong. Drives him into Darnold, forces Darnold to make an errant throw. It's incomplete. So right away, just a quick breakdown here because we've talked about it so much. I just want to include as many of these dominant reps by Jared Verse as possible because I love Jared Verse. He gets his hands inside the chest of the tackle, drives him back, gets him upright, makes him uncomfortable. He's driving. Darnold's uncomfortable. He doesn't like it, so he's going to throw this one up. Incomplete. Throws it into 1, 2, 3 different defenders. I know this DB was closing, but he was very easily going to get right around Naylor by the time the ball got to him. So Darnold makes an iffy decision, just chucks one up under pressure. At this point in the game, I get it. I'm not saying this is like, oh my God, Darnold, what are you doing? It's just doesn't get the throw he wants, doesn't get the positioning he wants, anything like that. Overthrows it. Thankfully, that makes it so it goes incomplete. But Verse does just a fantastic job here of taking advantage of the fact he's going up against a backup. Puts him on his ass at the end of the play. Completely overlooked that. You see, he keeps driving and puts him on his ass there at the end of the play. He's laying down as this ball's going up. Just another fantastic rep by number 8. How many times am I going to say that in this video? Who knows? Because number 8 is damn good at football. Very interesting front from the Rams on this one. We've got Jared Verse, who's lined up in his normal spot as an edge rusher. Hoyt is lined up as almost like a stand-up linebacker here. We've got Kobe Turner lined up directly over top of the center as a nose tackle. Byron Young, another edge rusher, also lined up pretty much as a stand-up linebacker. And then Braden Fisk is lined up as an edge rusher, as he's traditionally an interior lineman. Main 2 players on this are going to be Hoyt and Fisk. These 2 are going to combine for a sack. So we'll go ahead and let this one run once I get the damn pen markings off my screen. There we go. Ball gets snapped. Darnold is under a lot of pressure. Hoyt gets some immediate pressure. And then he and Fisk are going to be in there to finish the sack. Hoyt slamming the hammer over there. You see the little sledgehammer celebration. So we'll go ahead. Take a look at Hoyt first. So over here on the right side of the line, he's going to cut across the face of the guard and try to slip between him and the center. That's going to create a pick for Kobe Turner. But the 2 interior linemen are going to do a good job of playing it. They've been dealing with a lot of stunts here. So that is going to mean that 64 is able to pick up Turner. However, Hoyt just flattens his man. and is going to force Darnold to step a few steps back. Darnold holds on this ball too long, as per usual, as per was the trend in this game. So Hoyt's going to be able to get after him, get on top of him, and get the assisted sack. So again, watching it full speed, sets up the pick. The guard picks it back up, so Hoyt says, fine, I'll do it myself. Runs over the center, gets himself back up, and ends up hitting Darnold. Other side here with Fisk, we're going to get a one-on-one with the backup left tackle. And Fisk does a great job. Tries his ass off here. You see, he knows that he's not somebody that in a traditional sense is great at, shedding blocks one-on-one. Not really his strong suit, but that's okay. The Rams have found 15 ways to get around that, which is something I greatly overlooked in my draft grade video. But he's going to do a good job here of kind of playing with the tackle a little bit, eventually finds an angle he wants to go in at, gets inside, starts driving, starts pushing. Reisner's going to come over to double team, and Reisner's actually going to push him out of the tackle's range, and then Fisk is able to just get around and chase him down. So Fisk, as opposed to doing anything fancy, this is all just drive. He just wants it more than the guys across from him. He ends up taking full advantage when he finds an opening. He's quick enough to get back there. So just a great job by him and Hoyt, getting to Darnold. Again, with Darnold just holding the ball far too long. And that's another massive sack for the Rams defense. All right, another quick one here. Man of the play is going to be Jared Verse, lined up on the left side of your screen. It's going to be more of the same. Builds up that speed, slams into the tackle's chest, and then he's going to force Darnold out. Byron Young sheds off his block, forces Darnold to dump one off to the running back for a loss of 2. So taking a closer look here, again with Verse, pretty self-explanatory. Get low, hands in the chest, drive your man back. This time Verse runs him over, makes Darnold uncomfortable. Darnold's going to spin out. That gives Byron Young the opportunity to shed his block, and he's going to chase him down until Darnold dumps this one off. Versus bull rush is unreal. It's unblockable. It would keep me up at night if I was an offensive coordinator, an offensive lineman, or a quarterback. I'd be terrified to try to block this guy one-on-one because he's a rookie and he's already showed it's pretty much damn near impossible. We've got another Neville Gallimore sack here going to be lined up between your tackle and the guard as a 3 technique. Go ahead. Let this ball get snapped. Bring Jordan Addison in motion, excuse me. And Gallimore's going to do a great job on this stunt. Rips Darnold to the ground. Gets his opportunity to celebrate. Just a great job there. Taking a closer look, not a whole lot to it. Another stunt. Gallimore's going to feign like he's engaging with the guard, and then he's going to loop around once Michael Hoyt cuts inside and takes on the guard and the tackle. So you see Gallimore, he cuts inside, sees Hoyt engage with the tackle, so he's going to cut back outside, and that is going to give Gallimore the open lane to Darnold. Darnold steps over to Gallimore because Hoyt's coming down the middle. Rewind it just a tick so you can see that. You got Hoyt crashing down the middle. That forces Darnold out. He steps right into Gallimore, just tucks the ball and accepts his fate. And Gallimore, rips him here. Tries to grab at the ball, can't quite get to the ball, so he's grabbing Darnold by the chest. I mean, that's just bullying him at that point. The Rams were having fun with how they were taking down Sam Darnold. Just rips him to the ground, quick and easy. Uses the momentum from him flipping Darnold to jog into his little celebration. Just a really, really nice play here. Watch it one more time. Grab Darnold, rip, sack, celebration. Very big day from someone who, like I said, to my own dismay, to my own ignorance, I guess is the right word I'm looking for here. Big day from someone who I was not super familiar with before this game, but now Neville Gallimore is someone that is comfortably on my radar because of what he did against the Vikings. And the final play we're going to take a look at here, the sack that tied the single game playoff record, is from none other than Desjuan Johnson, the second-year man out of Toledo, former 7th round pick, and he is going to put the effort on full display here. Does a great job fighting and then bringing down Sam Darnold with a little bit of help there from 96, who I just straight up don't know the name of. I apologize. But taking a look at Johnson here, he's going to cut immediately in between the tackle and the guard. He's going to occupy this lane, and the guard is going to shove him into the tackle while 96 is engaged with Johnny Munt, the tight end. Eventually, 96 is going to make his way down, and you've got an attempt at a stunt here, it looks like. 94, Johnson seems to be pinning. Can't quite tell, to be honest. It seems more to me like he's just trying his best to fight through two different guys trying to block him at the same time. So you got the double team. It's going to create kind of a natural pick here for Thomas. He's eventually going to take the heat off of Desjuan Johnson from 64, and that is going to open up Johnson to fight on through and get to Darnold. This play right here is sheer willpower and determination, saying, I'm getting that fucking sack and nothing can stop me. You know, if you believe it, you can achieve it, and that is exactly what Desjuan Johnson does here. He believes he can get that sack. He believes he can get number 9 for the Rams. He does exactly that. You know, we're inside 2 minutes at this point. The game's over, but you can't get mad at a 7th rounder coming in with just more energy and aggression than the guys left in the game that have been playing all day have, and trying to pad his stats a little bit. You know, you can't get mad at that. You got to respect it. So shout out Desjuan Johnson. Not only did he get himself that sack, but again, he tied the single game playoff record, or helped the Rams, tie the single game playoff record for most sacks in a game, all of which helped them cap off a massive pass rushing day, just making Sam Darnold's life a living hell. But anyways, folks, that is going to do it for this film breakdown. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please let me know down in the comments below what you think, anything I can improve upon, any thoughts on this video, anything like that, even suggestions for future videos. I'm all ears. Love to hear feedback. Love to hear what you have to say. If there's any Rams fans who want to come victory lap the Braden Fisk pick, by all means, you know, like I mentioned in the video, I made my mistake of focusing on the negatives as opposed to focusing on the positives. The athleticism with Fisk was clear. The ability on stunts was clear. Personally, I thought trading up for a guy in the 2nd round who was a total projection and was not somebody that was great at getting off blocks was a bad idea. Rams made it work. I stand corrected. We'll make a longer video later on in the offseason about him and some other guys that I got wrong, which you definitely won't want to miss, so you'll make sure to want to subscribe to get updates on all my new uploads. We got weekly videos coming out, all that good stuff. And also make sure to leave a like down below, as it helps out the channel a ton, shows your support, shows you care, and I really do appreciate it. I'm starting to lose my voice if it's not apparent, so with all that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, night, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you enjoy it, because you're all wonderful people, and you truly do deserve it.
Had a chance on the throwback. This was an ill-advised throw. What an unbelievable catch by Cole Kmet. And he cups it too. No movement when he hits the ground, tucked up against his shoulder. Wow. Using that